solitary, reclusive artist slash person. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like this darkroom. It's because it's like shut off from everything else. But I mean, I do paint sometimes, and I'm able to work with my other roommates as well out there, or sorry, studio mates, and that kind of collaborative process in which like everyone's seeing what you're doing is very it's scary for me. I don't, it's a different type of vulnerability for me. I grew up in East Palo Alto. I grew up across from a liquor store, a barber shop, and a taqueria, so it was like always just very alive. A lot of action, a lot of violence, a lot of drugs. Bowdoin offered me a great offer, a great deal to go to school there and study. I originally got there for physics and studying other subjects, but I took a photography class with Mike Holster my sophomore year and immediately fell in love with photography, mainly film, and from then on it was just like a end all for me. So I guess I was probably 18, 19 years old when I first started making photographs, I'd say. My first real exposure to art. Yeah. Mike Colster was the the sole photo professor of Bowdoin's visual art department, and we hit it off really well despite me being a bit of a rebellious little shit, excuse my language. But I mean, after that, I just enjoyed his wisdom. He had gone through a great deal of adversity. He was also from the Bay Area. Well, I guess he lived there, and I don't know, I think we just kind of understood each other. In college, there were a few of us who were visual artists, and so we did whatever we could to find space for ourselves to make art. In college, our friends were renting out this house that had a barn connected to it, and so we kind of just made ourselves at home inside the barn and made it into studios, and that was our senior year, I believe. And so once we graduated, we were adamant on finding a space. We all knew that we needed to continue creating after college, and so a few of us were Craigslist hunters, and we saw that this space was up for rent, and we actually acquired this space maybe about 2 weeks before our graduation in May, and so we hopped on that really fast, and there was, I think, 5 of us working in here at the time. And so we had couches set up and little stations and canvases everywhere, and it was kind of just like this dusty little studio where these post-college kids would come and hang out and do the thing after work. We'd be here until 3 or 4 in the morning always, and just it was just our dream to have a space to create in and to see our work come to life, without any real restrictions. It's good to get other perspectives and to see other people's work, and I think that's been really beneficial, because this I can keep close to myself and share it with Roland when I'm ready, but other work that I see and get to collaborate with is it feels brave to do that. I don't know, especially working with New System, getting to connect with other artists and hear them talk about their work and the way they approach things is really it's a beautiful thing, and it helps me get me out of my comfort zone, and I think being in New System, both in my darkroom space and the outer studio space, has helped me develop my communication skills as an artist, but also collaborative skills as well. It's just really fun to pop out of the darkroom and see just 5 people working on different paintings, and then coming back in and just feeling very at peace and at home. We're just we're putting our own money into this. We raise money each year through these auctions and things like that, and I know it's scary to think that this is one of the few remaining spaces in Portland that can truly be used for this whatever the hell's going on here. Studio space, gallery space, exhibition space. It took a bit of work to get here, and I think just maybe 2 years ago I was able to start printing. it's the spending 45 minutes in total darkness, and it's a very tactile thing for me that I really enjoy, especially when it comes to making prints. Having to troubleshoot everything and make your test strips and see what time works best. Constantly having to move your trays and then stepping out to the dark and coming back in. It's very it takes a long time, which is why I like it. It consumes my time in my day, and there's nothing more than I like to do than to sit in dark. A sad breakup, I began writing these love letters addressed to nobody in particular. They're just called letters to mi amor, and all these letters would begin with the phrase mi amor, which is Spanish for my love. And I would write a few of these all the time and pair them with photographs and kind of these online postcards in a way. And ever since then, I always felt this need to match writing with photography. I think I found that the people I let into my life in photograph usually are the main subject matter of what I write about and what I tend to look for. I think I was a horrible photographer when I first started. I don't know. I'd shoot maybe like 15 photographs that I really enjoyed of friends and patterns and things I could find that were mimicking each other in life. And then the other half was just a wasted roll, just trying to fire off things so I can finish the assignment. And it really showed, and my professor was a little upset. He was like, "What are you doing with this roll?" And I was like, "I don't know. To be honest, I have no idea." I just really wanted to get to the darkroom and see the photographs that I liked that I took. I didn't care for the rest. And so, yeah, it just took me a bit of getting over that kind of rebellious, I don't care for the whole roll kind of stage. I just want to see the 10 photographs that I enjoyed. And even then, when I developed those would be just utter crap. I mean, years ago, I'd be running around with my camera strapped around me and photographing whatever I could, just wasting rolls just because I knew I had to make photographs of something. But I think I've amassed, I have 6 binders full of negatives already, and I think I have a lot of content, so I've just been taking a lot of old photographs and trying to remake narratives and videos and work with what I have right now. And I think I have a good trove of work to go through and comb through and try to understand. So I think I'm at a point where I'm just reflecting on the work I'm making. I've done my classic gelatin silver prints. Now it's time for me to try something I have never done before, or something I've always wanted to do, and that's always making filmmaking or making small videos and things like that. I was raised Catholic from birth until whenever I decided to not be Catholic. I think at 12 I proclaimed myself an agnostic because I didn't really understand what I was doing. But looking back now, I don't look back with fondness, but I look at it with this kind of interesting take on faith and having something to stand in for the other. I'm just trying to explore what it means to me to kind of move away from Catholicism and what it meant to move away from God at a certain age. I think I'm back at a point where my faith is being put into question once more. And I've been reading the Bible as well, not as a devout reader, but as someone who just wants to explore what's in this book, what are the things they're trying to say. I don't know, the grandeur of it is really enticing and really beautiful to me. And I think that's the kind of emotion I want to bring to my photographs and to my writing is whether it's subtle or very explicit. To me, it's fun to make things feel like they're larger than life. My mother sends me text messages every few days, assuring me that God loves me and will continue to love me despite the hardships bestowed upon my path. My intention is to text her back, but instead I turn the volume up on the television and open another beer. On Sundays I wake up righteous. The Bible I keep beneath my bed makes its way to the desk, where I partner Isaiah with a can of Red Bull and incur my hands into God's love and wrath. I pray in English and I confess in Spanish,
and with fearful candor, I attempt an explanation for why I've been absent from the seat that has been set for me inside the house up the street. I tell God, with all sincerity in my aching voice, that it's been a hectic week with work and the pandemic and all, that I'd meant to say something earlier, instead of canceling last minute, like I always do.
My dad moved to the States when he was 4 years old, immigrated from Mexico as well. And only in the last, like, maybe 10, maybe less years did I learn that he took a lot of photo classes in high school and wanted to be a photographer or and be a filmmaker. This is after the fact that I was taking all these classes as well. And so my aunts would tell me stories about his stuff and would actually show me his like prints that they still kept from him that he made in high school. And unfortunately, my father passed away when I was 14, so a lot of these things I'm not able to explore or connect with anymore. But this, yeah, his unknown experience to me with the same mediums I'm working with is means a lot to me. And he was someone who always had a camera with him, a video camera. I actually still have his VHS camera that he has, and I've made a few projects out of those in college through VCR and VHS. Yeah, and so knowing that he really wanted to explore these artistic outlets really inspires me to continue with it. Having this privilege of being able to make art on my own time and make it my career is really exciting to me. And I think my family is really supportive of it, and they're like, you're doing what your father really wanted to do and never was able to. Make what you want to make, and above all, buy your time. Time is the number one resource you need, and the one you'll always want. And without time, there's no art.